In this video, we are going to talk about another PhoneGap API, that is Device Orientation API. In order to use PhoneGap's Device Orientation API, you would need physical device. Device Orientation API is just like the compass in our hand. It gives us the direction in which our device is pointing, with 0 being north, 90 being east, 180 being south, and 270 being west. Device Orientation plugin in its aspect is very similar to the previous plugin that we saw about Device Motion plugin. It has access to device's compass. The compass acts as the sensor that displays the direction or heading that the device is pointed to. Usually it's located on the top of the device. The compass sensor measures the heading in degrees from 0 to 359.99 degrees. To install the plugin, you need to run the command PhoneGap plugin add Cordova plugin device orientation. The device orientation again is located on a navigator object. It creates a property named compass. The object is again available only after device ready is fired, so we cannot access it before device is ready. It has similarly three functions just like our device motion plugin: get current heading, watch heading, and clear watch. Get current heading will give you the current pointing of the device at the time of request. It is a one-time request data. This has two callbacks, success and a failure callback. Success callback gives us a heading object. This heading object has four properties. Magnetic heading. This means the heading in degrees from 0 to 359.99 at a single moment in time. True heading. The heading relative to geographic North Pole in degrees 0 to 359.99 at a single moment of time. A negative value indicates that the true heading could not be determined. Heading accuracy. The deviation in degrees between the reported heading and the true heading. Timestamp. The time at which the heading was determined. Watch heading function has similar properties. It has a success and a failure callback. The only thing over here is we can increase the frequency of data request. It will keep on giving us the data unless until specified. And clear watch is similar to the clear watch in a device motion. It will stop watching for the data. Now let us have a hands-on device orientation plugin. In order to work on a hands-on with PhoneGap device orientation plugin, you need to open exercise 17. Once you open exercise 17 in your Android Studio, let's go ahead in our index.html. Before we jump into that file, we have to install the plugin. In order to install the plugin, we will hit this command. In order to use the device orientation plugin, we need to install the PhoneGap device orientation plugin. We can install the plugin using PhoneGap command. PhoneGap plugin add Cordova plugin device orientation. We'll hit enter. Once this plugin is installed, we will see in our config.xml that this plugin is registered. So if we go to our config.xml, at the very end of our file, we can see that the device orientation plugin has been installed. Now let's go to our index.html and let's create a button. Get direction. In the buttons click handler, we are going to add a function, and inside our JS file, we are going to define that function. Now, as we know that this is available only after device ready, so let's go ahead and create a guard. I'll set this guard is device ready to true once the device ready event is called. And I'll use this guard inside the function. If the device is ready, we'll proceed with getting the details. If not, we are going to just go ahead and simply alert the user. Now, as we know that the device orientation data is available on navigator.compass. So we can go ahead and say navigator.compass.getCurrentHeading. This has two callbacks, success callback and error callback. Let's define both of these functions. Again, we are not focusing on error right now. I'll rename it to heading object, and I'll also create error callback. We are simply going to say alert error. Inside the heading object, we are going to get the entire details about the pointer or the heading. Now we need to display it, so let's go ahead and display the heading. Inside our HTML, I'll go ahead and create a div. I'll give the div an ID, heading information. Now this heading information will be populated with the details available in the heading object. As we know, we have four properties accessible inside heading, that is magnetic heading, true heading, heading accuracy, and timestamp. So let's go ahead and create the HTML. I'll append that. In fact, let's try a new way. So we're appending four things: true heading, heading accuracy, and timestamp. So I prepared my HTML. I'll go ahead and append it. Document dot get element by ID. And this shall be done. We are going to set our inner HTML to the string that we have just formed. Now let us go ahead and check it on our actual device. I'll go ahead and execute my application. Before that, I'll just have to add the execution configuration. For that, you need to click on add configuration and then click the plus sign, add new configuration, PhoneGap. You can choose run. Emulate is for emulator and run is for running on actual device. And then I can go ahead and say dash dash device and then click apply. Once this is done, let's go ahead and check in our application. I'll hit the play button and wait for the execution. And as you can see, our application has launched. I'll click get directions and you can see the magnetic direction currently is coming as 0. So let me check here. So if you can see the magnetic direction coming in every time I request the data. So let's check if I have a compass. So I have a compass app to just check whether I'm pointing in a correct direction or not. So I'm currently pointing towards south, 180 or 179 degrees south. So let's go to our PhoneGap application and check whether it's correct or not. Yep, it's almost there, 178, 179. So that's how accurate it is. Heading accuracy is not negative, that means it's accurate. And we also get the timestamp. Now, this is one part of it. If we want to get the constant data, then we are going to use something different. We are going to use watch heading, and we can do that watch heading inside our device ready function. So I'm going to copy that entire function and replace the get current heading with watch heading, and I'll change the callbacks success watch callback just for differentiation, error watch callback, and this takes one more parameter, that is frequency, in form of options object. So we can pass an object which has to have a parameter, and I'll say every 10 milliseconds I would want the data of my compass. So this is done, and in order to clear the watch, or in order to stop listening for the data from compass, we are going to create another variable in the global scope, watch ID, and I can go ahead and assign this variable the watch that we had created. Now let me go ahead and create these two new callbacks. Remember, the success watch callback also has the same parameters, or also has the same data that is being passed out, and error watch callback. So now this is done. Let me go ahead and copy this entire thing. I won't change anything. So let's go ahead with the same data, and we'll be seeing that every time I move my device, it's going to change the direction. So I'll go ahead and execute my application. So as you can see, the magnetic heading is changing quite frequently, and if I turn left or right, it changes quite drastically. If I keep it stagnant, I won't touch it, still it changes a bit because of motion and because of requesting the data constantly. And as you can see, the true heading and the magnetic heading are now constantly pointing at south, that is 190, 192. Now let us clear the watch. So in order to clear the watch, we are just going to create one more button, that is button stop, and we are going to say on click. Stop direction information, and we are going to define this function. This function again will be accessing navigator dot compass dot clear watch, and we have to pass the watch ID that we already defined. Let's execute this and see if it works. See, these sensors are highly sensitive, so any kind of like slight motion will also trigger the change in this. Now we have the stop button, and we can see that it's currently getting the direction constantly every 10 milliseconds. I'll click stop and it will freeze there. It will no longer listen for the compass information. So that's it for the hands-on from Compass plugin, that is the device orientation plugin. There are several business use cases which will come back later after covering all the plugins. Thank you.